come on, that's a bunch of horse shit. Hey, no, Calrissian was a black guy, you know. He got the fly of the Millennium Falcon. What's the matter with you?
Who said that?
I did. Lando Calrissian is a positive role model in the realm of science fiction fantasy.
Fuck Lando Calrissian, Uncle Tom, nigga. Always some white boy gotta invoke the Holy Trilogy. Bust this. Those movies are about how the white man keeps the brother man down, even in a galaxy far, far away. Check this shit. You got cracker farm boy Luke Skywalker, not supposed to wear blonde hair, blue eyes. And then you got Darth Vader, the blackest brother in the galaxy, Nubian god.
What's a Nubian?
Shut the fuck up. Now, Vader, he's a spiritual brother, down with the Force and all that good shit. Then there's Cracker, Skywalker. Gets his hands on a lightsaber, and the boy decides he's gonna run the fucking universe. Gets a whole clan of whites together. And they gonna bust up Vader's hood, the Death Star. Now what the fuck do you call that?
Intergalactic Civil War?
Gentrification! They're gonna drive out the black element to make the galaxy, quote, unquote, safe for white folks.
And Jedi's
The most insulting installment, because Vader's beautiful black visage is sullied when he pulls off his mask to reveal a feeble, crusty old white man. They trying to tell us that deep inside, we all wants to be white.
Well, isn't that true?
Hi, this is DS Yoxheimer. This is another edition of The Spectre, and I'm going to be talking a little bit about the Black Panther movie, which I have not seen. I'm not doing a review of it. I'm talking about the hoopla around it. I showed that clip from Chasing Amy to illustrate the faux cultural significance that the movie The Black Panther seems to be having. They seem to be sort of, I don't know if critics are being paid off. I think a lot of them do. And I don't think, this case, it's the same. It's pretty much the same. I mean, I don't really, back when I was growing up, we had a few movie critics and stuff like that. There were like a handful of them, like Rex Reed, Siskel and Ebert, just to name a couple there. Nowadays, you have Metacritic and Rotten Tomatoes, and there's hundreds of critics, and that's how they quantify how good a movie is. And it's like anything. It's like politics. It's corrupted by money, and I no doubt there is some sort of they are getting something. I'm not sure, some form of payola to give all of these raving reviews to another superhero film, because this is not about a civil rights leader, okay? This is about a comic book character, and I'm sure the movie's pretty cool. I mean, the Marvel movies have been, a lot of them, I would say at least 75% of them since the first X-Men movie in 2000 have been quite good. And I'm a comic book nerd, and I did want to see this movie a lot when I saw the first trailer for it. And when the first trailer came out, it was a trailer for a movie, and Black Panther movie, cool. He was in Civil War. He was introduced in the cinema Marvel universe, and they weren't making a huge deal about it then. But for some reason, all of a sudden, this movie is the fucking Citizen Kane of superhero movies. And, black people are, and that's cool, I mean, that they are, but I don't really know what that means exactly. Like, it's I don't think there are any heroes right now in real life, and that's probably why superhero movies are so, of course, so popular. And there's certainly for, let's say, a lot of African Americans, there's nobody to look up to, I guess, really in real life. Maybe from a lot of their perspectives, so they're looking to this character. But when in all reality, the Black Panther is just another actor playing a superhero, pretending to be a hero, being paid millions of dollars. I mean, most of us will never see the amount of money the actor who plays, that the actor who is playing this role of Black Panther is making. I mean, none of us, I don't make that. I mean, I make shit. I make no money. I'm a college graduate. I don't even make $20,000 a year. I can't believe I just admitted that. But it's just, it's so, everything's so politically divisive lately. It's just, everything is so, all these new constructs being introduced, like white privilege and the hashtag, Me Too, because a few men are sexual predators, all men are sexual predators, and because of predominantly white males and white people seemingly, or a lot of them did have it quite a bit better than a lot of African Americans in the past. That means invariably these days that all white people have this privilege, which they do not have. Because I worked for a lot of white people who are far from privileged. I grew up with a lot of white people who are far from privileged. You can go around this country, you will find no shortage of poor white people. All the good jobs that used to be around left all the little towns all across America. So there's not a lot of, there just aren't. There aren't a lot of white people doing well. That is a mediated reality. People watch shows like, the Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Actually, they're Armenian, they're not white. And maybe the Chrisleys, that Todd Chrisley guy that lives down in Atlanta or something, I don't know. But Chrisley knows best, and a lot of just, it's, a lot of things, and TV shows and movies and stuff, I mean, even the ones that I saw growing up, all the, people kind of lived an upper middle class lifestyle. Their parents were always professionals. They were doctors and attorneys, and typically, with the exception of a few shows. So I think that's where a lot of this perception comes from. So, I mean, I didn't grow up that way, and there were people I knew that grew up that way, that it's just, but most people don't. If you go to any town, any small town in America, you're pretty much going to find that, there's a lot of people who, they live, there's the section of town where, there's all the fancy houses and shit like that, and the rest of the town is, pretty much lower middle working poor. So that's pretty much the way it is. Anyway, it's late. I'm trying to get this video together. So it's getting ridiculous with everything. I mean, you can't put out a movie now without all this bullshit coming out. I remember, the recent case was with the all-female Ghostbusters movie, and a lot of, VTubers and internet critics came out, and small-time people that weren't, well-known, came out and said, hey, you know what, I don't want to see this Ghostbusters movie. It's not canon, it doesn't take place after the events of the other Ghostbusters movie. The cast is all wrong, whatever. It was basically a reboot that nobody, for the most part, seemed to ask for. But who cares? They just made a movie, big deal, let it be a movie. And that's kind of what I'm saying about the Black Panther Just let it be a movie. Let it be another superhero movie. I'm not saying, you know, you can't like it, you know, if you're black and you're like excited about it, great, you know. That's cool too, but it doesn't have to be this like it's not like it fixes everything or something, or somehow makes up for how fucked up everything is now. You know, I mean, it doesn't change anything. You know, things are still horrible. It's nothing to get that excited about, or it borders on ridiculous. I mean, you know, Donald Trump is still president. And all politicians, I mean, Donald Trump is probably the most rotten, vile, putrid, protoplasm poured into a fucking suit politician if there ever was one. But all of them are corrupt. You know, we have two big sort of powerhouse political parties that are corrupt running the country, and it's been that way for a long, long time. So, you know, so I think there's and I don't know what can fix it. I honestly don't know what do we replace that with. I don't know. How the fuck am I gonna know? But Black Panther ain't gonna save us. Captain America ain't gonna save us. Superman's not gonna save us. Batman's not gonna save us. Wonder Woman's not gonna fucking save us because they're fictional fucking characters. And people's, you know, and the Ghostbusters aren't going to save us either. A Ghostbusters movie didn't, you know, didn't matter at all. The movie didn't matter. I saw it, okay, and I think those actresses are talented. I like all of them in other things. I liked them on Saturday Night Live. I liked them in other movies. It was just a really shitty script, and we all kind of anticipated that. The trailer looked really bad, and when I finally saw it on TV, you know, it just, I kind of just watched it. It wasn't, like, painful to watch necessarily, but it wasn't any good. It was probably for someone who was, like, 13 years old. But that's just what it is, you know. I mean, they have to take a movie. I mean, you go on and like take a movie like that. It's like, okay, that was a piece of shit. All right, it sucked. It doesn't have to be sexist. The movie was just bad. Ghostbusters 2 was bad. Okay, I like the first Ghostbusters movie. The second one sucked because, you know, they just basically they couldn't come up with anything, and you know they had the original cast, so the original cast couldn't make a bad script work. Just like this, you know, those 4 talented women could make a bad script work. The jokes were too dumb, and it was too juvenile to be funny. And not that the first movie wasn't silly and juvenile, but it at least hit the right notes. And then it became popular. When something becomes popular and lucrative, they want to make another one. You know? It's just like all these superhero movies. They make freaking, you know, that's why another reason this movie isn't such a big deal. It's another superhero movie. They make a dozen of them a year, it seems. I mean, when I was growing up, before the late 90s, or I think at least, they made a superhero movie every 9 years. You had like the Superman movies with Christopher Reeve, and then the Tim Burton, Michael Keaton Batman movies, and then they made a couple of shitty Batman movies, which with the nipples on their costumes and stuff, and everybody hated Batman again. And then Christopher Nolan came back in the 2000s, in like 2005, and made Batman Begins, and everybody liked Batman again because he made Batman cool. And then they came back and it's like, you know what, we're gonna do the whole freaking DC universe now, just like Marvel did the whole Marvel universe, but we're gonna fuck it all up. Because we're going to take everything that was cool that Christopher Nolan did and throw it in the dumpster, and we're going to cast Ben Affleck as Batman, and then kind of like rip off things from The Dark Knight Returns, and they made that, you know, pretty clunky just Superman versus, or what, Batman versus Superman, I don't even know which one came first, movie. And the only thing that was good about it was that Wonder Woman showed up at the end, and they made a pretty good Wonder Woman movie that I liked. And then they made the second Justice League movie with the Flash, and they added Aquaman, and it pretty much sucked, I would have to say. And that's not really what I'm altogether talking about. I'm sort of talking about the politicization of these characters and movies, and how people make such a big deal out of fucking nothing. Like, every time a comedian makes a joke, they have to apologize for it. Every time, you can't challenge any of these ideas that just roll off of a college campus anymore. And everything is just about polarization and people elevating their visibility on social media and that sort of thing by being either controversial or being some kind of social justice warrior, even though they don't really do a fucking thing about anything. They just, they tweet something when something happens, or they make a video like I'm doing now, which is ridiculous. But I'm not doing anything about anything, and I'm not saying I'm doing anything about anything, because I'm not. I'm just doing my regular YouTube series, which usually I don't talk about this kind of shit anymore, but the sort of reaction to Black Panther, and people reacting negatively to the whatever, 91 to 100, was it 91% on Rotten Tomatoes? So what if it got 91% on Rotten Tomatoes? Big shit and deal. So what if some critics got paid off to give it a good review? That's the movie business. They made like the movie probably cost nearly $200 million to make. Of course they wanted to make money. You think a critic isn't going to take a bribe or whatever to, say, oh yeah, it's a good movie. So yeah, that's what happened with it. Big deal. It's not a big deal. It's like people get shocked that, things like that are corrupt and that there's nothing to believe in, and it's, I'm sorry, that's kind of what it is. I mean, I went to college, I got pretty disillusioned. All college cared about was making fucking money off of you, and charging you too much for books, and room and board, and this and that, and it's all this, they find the most costly way of educating people, and to get a degree that you can't fucking do anything with once you've gone on to all of that trouble and you graduated. I mean, I can't do anything with my degree. I've gotten like a couple of temp jobs with my degree after I graduated from college, and that's it. And I have a broadcast degree. I had an internship, and and that's not the easiest thing in the world to make into a career either. With that said, but it didn't really help me get my foot in the door in a lot of places, and I didn't really know anybody anyway, but that's another story. But to say the least, I am planning to try at some point, go see this flick. I might see it at home, I don't know, I mean, but I don't, it's just, I just can't go to a fucking superhero movie anymore, or see another stupid movie without somebody turning it into something. I mean, it's, it's just a movie. It's based on a, kind of a B Marvel character, quite frankly. So, really, with that said, I mean, that's all I can really say about it. It's not really, it's just, it doesn't matter, you know what I mean? If you enjoyed the movie, that's really what matters. I mean, it doesn't matter if a white kid enjoys it, a black kid enjoys it, an Asian kid enjoys it, that's what it should be for. It shouldn't be for just black people, and white superheroes shouldn't just be for white people. They don't like, it's, I like Wonder Woman. I like the Wonder Woman TV series when I was a kid, I have Wonder Woman comics. It doesn't, I think she's a cool character. I like her. I like Princess Leia. She's a woman and stuff like that. I like Lando Calrissian from the Star Wars universe. I think he's cool. It's not because he's black. I just liked him as a character. I wanted to see him actually come back. I wanted to see Billy D. Williams come back in the new Star Wars movies. He's going to be in the Solo movie, but not Billy D. Williams, just the character Lando Calrissian. But that doesn't really matter, does it? And another thing, what's the deal with the freaking Millennium Falcon in the new Solo movie? It's like different. I don't understand why that is. It's like way too different. The front end, it's weird. Anyway, you know, where it's like kind of in the front, there's that cleft or wrench shape, and that whole area is filled in, and what happened to it after that made it look the way it did in the episode 4, who the fuck knows? It doesn't matter. This video officially didn't matter. This was a really stupid video. Damn it. It's a disaster. Making videos at 3 in the fucking morning. Talking about politics and movies. But I would say, you know, I'm just trying to keep things in perspective as far as, you know, pop culture goes. Movies are supposed to be kind of an escape and kind of fun, and yes, sometimes they have a message and everything, and all of that, and that's that can be important too. But I just don't, you know, I don't really see that, you know. I mean, all of a sudden something becomes something else, you know, because I did see the Black Panther in Civil War, and he was just, you know, basically one of the characters in the Avengers, and he was an important character, and I thought he was really cool, and I guess I should have expected this, you know what I mean, especially with Trump becoming president, because since then Trump has become president, and, you know, everybody's losing their mind, myself included, because I don't fucking get that either. I don't understand why people are okay with them, and they, some of us have a problem with them because he's a fucking psychopath, but other people are okay with him. So it'll just be interesting to see how this whole thing, I guess, continues to unravel. I won't even say unfold, it's just unraveling, like everything. So this has been another edition of The Spectre, and if you have any thoughts or comments or whatever, please, you know, feel free to leave them below. I'm sure you'll have a lot of critical comments of this video and all of that. So go out and see the Black Panther. I'd recommend going out and maybe reading some comics. There's plenty of Black Panther comics out there. This is what they look like. This is what the movies are based on. So yeah. Take care, and that's all I have to say about it. Yeah.